Can you imagine TNT and AEW live every single Wednesday night, folks? This is going to be one hell of a ride, fellas.
The time is right now. Get going over your head. I'm calling lights out until it's over again. I'll be damned if I ever let you get me again. Yeah, I was stopping nothing, cause I was made to rise above it. Chris Jericho is AEW. I'm alive.
And we're looking at the fastest rising star in Wrestling America. Nightmare makes his presence known.
What kind of family is this, for God's sakes?
Wear my scars so they can show me.
Get the EMTs in here!
I've got nothing left to prove. So when I look at you, all I see are trophies.
History has been made.
I'm not afraid
This is must win.
to put it all like it was in my veins.
Hands down, the biggest match of his career.
I'm stopping nothing, cause I was made to rise above it.
Takes to the skies. Good God Almighty, the roof just came on.
It's insanity. It's absolute insanity.
I'm stopping nothing, cause I was made to rise above it.
It is physical. It is intense. And these fans are absolutely going crazy.
This is what you call a paradigm shift.
Hi everybody, it's Tony Schiavone. Tonight we get you caught up with everything you need to know about AEW as we take a journey of the past 9 months and how we arrived at this moment. What is All Elite Wrestling? It's a new league born by you, the fans, and some of the most exciting athletes in the sport today. Together, we are ready to change the world. AEW's roster includes some of the most popular and talented wrestlers, not only in the U.S., but all over the world. The American Nightmare Cody, a former world champion in both tag team and singles competition, and a second-generation star. Nick and Matt Jackson, the Young Bucks, the most dynamic and popular tag team in the world today. Kenny Omega, a champion in both the U.S. and Japan, and named Sports Illustrated's Wrestler of the Year in 2017. Hangman Adam Page, known the world over as one of the most prolific young superstars in the sport. He's been a champion in both singles and tag team wrestling all over the world. Jon Moxley, known for his unpredictable style and demeanor. Over the past 5 years, one of the most famous and notorious wrestlers in the world. MJF, one of the young rising stars in all of professional wrestling. He says he's better than you, and you know it. And the legendary Chris Jericho, over the past 20 years, one of the biggest names in all of pro wrestling, recording wins over Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page, on his way to becoming the first ever AEW World Champion. The countdown to All Elite Wrestling Dynamite on TNT starts now.
I think it was about 4 months ago. I was standing in the ring at All In, and I was surrounded by the best fans in the entire world. I felt like I was trapped in this literal wall of sound. It was your belief and your passion. It started a fire.
The three of us and a cast of our bandit friends disrupted the very way that professional wrestling functioned. We broke all of the rules. We were eventually approached by the Khan family, and they had a question for the three of us. The question was, do you guys really want to change the world? We said, yep. They said, we can help.
You guys are the #2 company and haven't had a show yet.
I mean, the amount of interest we've generated, it's for very good reason. We have the best performers in the world. There hasn't been a roster with this caliber of workers on it in America with these kind of resources ever. I don't want to compare us to any other wrestling company. I mean, we're AEW. We're doing something very different.
Guys, it kind of feels like, it smells like, I don't know, it seems like this is a revolution.
From the time I was a little kid, I wanted to be a pro wrestler. I really didn't have much of a choice. And of course, because of second generation and because I'm not just any second generation, I'm Dusty's son, then I grew up on TV in front of everybody. A full, solid decade of being there and learning from some of the best, getting in the ring with some of the best, having some amazing, life-changing moments. Met my wife there.
When you're so hungry and you're sitting behind WWE stage and they're not utilizing you properly, and your hands are tied because creatively they got nothing for you, it's when you're hungry and young and fresh and as good as he is.
I thought I'd won enough battles and filled enough blocks. I thought it was my time. They didn't.
At some point in somebody's career, you gotta say, okay, money isn't everything. What you believe in, what are you passionate about? Why stay? Go out, capture the world.
My biggest fear in my career was that I would not win the world title while my dad was, still alive. And that fear came true. I never won the world title. He never saw that. When it didn't happen, I had nothing else to fear. I still don't. But I've never felt more like a weight lifted off my shoulders. I've never felt more unafraid than when I left WWE after 10 years.
The first time we met Cody, we were in the middle of a hot summer day in Reseda, California, and it was Battle of Los Angeles, and it was hot as hell in this building, maybe 105 degrees. And this guy walks up in a suit. and the first thing I'm thinking is, why the hell are you in a suit? He comes up to me and says, "Hey man, my name's Cody Rhodes, nice to meet you. My buddy Kevin Steen has told me a lot about you."
So when I, burst the WWE bubble and saw out Matt and Nick, because they were, two of the folks I contacted, I genuinely had only ever seen one match. I'm smart enough, I feel like, in wrestling to know if your name is out there floating around this much and you're this endorsed by so many folks, there's something you're doing great.
It was, for them, it's like whatever it is, 15-year journey, 14-year journey of being broke for years and years and years and years. And you talk about paying dues.
The moment everything changed was Bullet Club.
Yeah.
That was it. It was the platform that we needed, and it was like lightning in a bottle, because we're around a bunch of rebel, renegade guys just like us who just want to have a good time, and we want to pop each other. Like every time we would do a segment, we were just out to pop each other and make each other laugh, and it resonated.
When Omega and the Bullet Club started selling t-shirts at Hot Topic and selling out in a national distributor like Hot Topic, except they weren't on any national TV, that's huge. And right then I said, there's something happening with the business.
And the timing was so right. Like, Cody brought all of his fans to this group. We brought all of our fans to this group. Kenny brought his fans from Japan.
We realized right away, we're like, there's something here, there's a chemistry. Being the Elite was the one thing that we controlled. Because in wrestling, you don't control anything really, right?
That's true, very true, yep.
You only could control the stuff you do in the ring, and even that is micromanaged a lot in the professional wrestling business. But this one thing we had was our platform.
100% control.
It was our way of speaking what we wanted to say, and we knew, we were like, this is all we've got. We realized we were onto something.
And that's when I told both the Bucks, I think we can do this on a big level. I think we can run a big arena, actually sell it out, and do our own thing. But all this was happening before Dave Meltzer ever tweeted me.
Somebody asked me, this was with Ring of Honor, and they had just done a show, and I think that it was the Hardys and the Young Bucks, and they did like 3,500 people in Lakeland, Florida. And somebody said, like, do you think that Ring of Honor could do a show that would draw 10,000 people? And at that time, I just said, no time soon. And Cody, like, immediately was just like, probably within an hour, I think, just goes, give me the Young Bucks, give me Kenny, I'll take that bet.
So much of what happened with All In was legit serendipity, legit. Things just coming together. When I pressed the button, my life changed. to do our own show, to do a show for wrestling fans by wrestlers, sounded very romantic, and most industry experts were, you know, dooming it to fail. And the amount of pressure that came with it as we built to September 1st was...
All right, guys, who is ready for All In?
Today is an historical day. Today is monumental for my brother, myself, for Cody, for the rest of the guys in the back. As you know, tickets go on sale tonight, 4 p.m.
And the website is already experiencing very heavy traffic.
I'm in a virtual waiting room.
I think
like
that's a
the
good sign,
Matrix.
though, right?
It is.
Yeah,
Hopefully you're in that
Or
waiting
Flip's still
room
not booked.
with 9,000 something people. Hopefully.
How do you feel right now, Code?
Honestly, just nervous and scared.
Yeah.
Like a little boy. I feel like a little
It's a good
boy in a
feeling.
suit. But it's such a good feeling.
Cody!
That's awesome.
Oh,
That's nuts.
we gotta do a vlog. We have to.
Right
Right?
now?
There we go.
I'm already rolling.
Holy. What are we? Let's see.
Tell 'em what happened.
49 minutes. We're
Well,
at
it sold out in
49
30
minutes.
minutes.
Oh, jeez.
It sold out in 30
I don't know
minutes.
if we could officially say it.
It is. I just tried to buy a ticket.
I think we have to technically wait until we get the call from the box office.
But it looks good.
It looks
and
like
it
it's
looks
sold out.
like the hype has lived, and I'm so proud. It's crazy.
We got the call from Gary Juster finally,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, "We did. We actually sold out." And I remember we all hugged, and it was such a fun, genuine moment.
That was
I
the
think
most
about.
emotional I've ever seen Cody. I saw
Yeah, he's
him go
crying.
off and cry in the corner. And
I
I was
still
like,
feel
oh,
that
this
way
is
too.
Very touching.
You know what's crazy is like I think about that moment when we all hugged right there, and we were like,
It was raw emotion.
Every time
yeah.
we sell out, though, I'm saying I have that. I
same
think
feeling.
back to that day, and I'm like, I still feel the same way.
Yeah.
Every time we sell out, I still think about that.
It opened your eyes because nothing like this had ever happened previously in wrestling ever at that level for a promotion without television. For just guys starting their own thing and everything. It's unprecedented. So it was just, and in its own way, it led to everything that happened since. Yeah, it's an absolutely amazing story.
I was so stressed. I'd never written a format before. I'd never held a production meeting before. Matt and Nick were working on all kinds of things, back of house things for a show.
Tomorrow's the big day, guys.
That set looks amazing.
Yeah. You guys got butterflies?
I'm sick to my stomach.
We got a kiss now?
Yeah, we might as well.
Shall we?
I love you guys.
I was gonna try to turn this into a comedy bit, but this
No,
is real.
it's real.
We're looking at this, watching this happen here in front of me.
There's so much I got out of it personally from the match I was in and all the stuff you see on the screen, but behind the scenes, the biggest thing I got out of it is we built a team.
It didn't take just 3 men. It didn't take just the Young Bucks and Cody. It took each and every one of the people standing in this ring. And most importantly, as cheesy as it sounds, all 10,000 plus of you.
Knew wrestling had changed, and you knew something was on the horizon. You just didn't know what it was.
I thought that it was a monumental day in wrestling, that the repercussions would be like some TV station's going to see this show and it's pro wrestling, but it's not WWE, it's something different, and go, we can take a chance on this. Did I think it would be TNT? Absolutely not. But I thought that somewhere somebody would do this and there would become a very interesting period in wrestling.
Because nobody, no man, no company, no entity owns pro wrestling. We own pro wrestling.
just announced All Elite Wrestling on Being the Elite, and the internet exploded. We had all the elite guys, but we needed the one big superstar coming from the other place to legitimize the thing.
I'm Chris Jericho, and I am all in with All Elite Wrestling!
When we got Jericho and he showed up on that stage at the press conference, everybody went crazy. And I think at that point people realized, like, oh, wait a minute, like, this is a true disruption. This is big.
This is a new league, and they're serious.
Are you guys ready for the second announcement? On three. 1, 2. We're running May 25th in Las Vegas, Nevada at the MGM Grand Garden Arena.
Will you guys follow us to Las Vegas?
I think this is going to be the next level of wrestling right here. I'm ready to buy my tickets right now.
It's a very exciting time for All Elite Wrestling after selling out Double or Nothing in just 4 minutes. 12,000 tickets sold at the MGM Grand in just 4 minutes. It's unprecedented in Las Vegas pro wrestling history. The first time ever that a show was sold out in less than a day, never mind less than 5 minutes.
We just got lucky. We got blessed. I mean, 9 countries, all states domestically, Puerto Rico, DC, and to sell out in under 4 minutes.
Unbelievable feeling, because it's like, okay, you can do it once and people will go like, well, they'll never be able to do it again, and then we did it again.
Yep.
All right, Tony Schiavone back on the countdown to AEW Dynamite tomorrow night, live right here on TNT, beginning at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Double or Nothing in Las Vegas during Memorial Day weekend was an historic night for AEW. One of the most important questions was answered as we found out who would be the first 2 competitors to vie for the AEW World Championship. Hangman Adam Page earned his spot in the title match, but the opponent, one of the best in the world, Kenny Omega, or the legendary Chris Jericho.
When you have the biggest star, one of the biggest in the world, and by far AEW's biggest star, we have to look good. And if I lose to Kenny Omega, who's basically a nobody to the mainstream audience, it's going to look bad for the company. AEW needs me to win. AEW should want me to win. And I know I have to win.
Chris Jericho has always been a cerebral athlete. Possibly one of the greatest of all time. Who knows? You can make an argument. The greatest of all time. Sure, I'll say it.
I'm putting my entire reputation, my entire career on the line. I can't lose. Nothing is going to stop me. And when I win, you are going to say thank you on behalf of AEW.
If you make that first opening statement that you beat Kenny Omega and that you want to thank you, you can't have that. That's terrible.
On May 26th, everyone in the world is going to be talking about Chris Jericho and about how Kenny Omega thanked him in front of the world for all he's done for all of you. You're welcome.
You only got one chance to have a first impression. And at Double or Nothing, it's going to be the ultimate first impression of what Kenny Omega is all about. The guy that owes Chris Jericho no thank yous.
They saved the best for last. Alpha versus Omega 2. Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho, the winner, going on to face Hangman Adam Page.
That's the key thing here.
Work on Rana, no reverse, here comes the capture.
Could be the walls.
And Omega making that desperate crawl to the ropes, underneath the ropes, and escaping out of the ring.
Jericho, low drop kick, right through the ropes, found its mark on Omega.
Omega, building up a full head of steam, takes to the skies! Omega up on the top, coming off, code breaker! Code breaker from the top! Look at the leg! No! Omega definitely has to keep that in mind!
Well, that knee is lethal. So are these. Jericho finally
rolls through!
The hell with this, I'm gonna counter.
Steps around! Lion Tamer, no! Very nearly takes out Paul Turner. He sets him up. Ah, I just planted him.
Jericho up on the shoulders of Kenny.
One-winged angel. Nope, Jericho again. DDT plants him.
They close the deal.
Codebreaker.
Oh. What can he do now?
Oh, the Judas effect.
There it is.
There it is. The ace in the hole.
The back elbow. The lug is hooked. And Jericho has beaten Kenny Omega.
The match was now set for All Out in Chicago. Hangman Adam Page one-on-one against Jericho.
Adam Page has never held a major championship. He's never headlined a pay-per-view. Conversely, Chris Jericho has done both those things numerous times. How does this young man at 27 years of age handle this pressure?
Hands down, the biggest match of his career.
What an impact by Jericho. Right off the apron went Hangman Page. And Jericho feeling pretty damn good about himself right now. Jericho's, I get it. He's imposing his will to some degree physically.
Oh, Page rolls through. Hoisting him up.
The strength of Adam Page shining through.
Shooting star press.
You got to put him away while you have an advantage. And right now, I think Adam Page has got an advantage. Trying to get to that top rope, he does.
Now flipping over. Buckshot lariat. Takes on Jericho. Pin him right now, Adam Page.
Well, he wants to put the exclamation mark on this. Go right back to it.
Jericho
getting a second chance.
Rising backslide.
The backslide. No.
Judas effect.
That's it. That's got to be it. By God, what impact.
Was that the knockout moment?
What a shot by Jericho. That's got to be it. And it is it. Chris Jericho is the first ever AEW World Champion.
Thank you, Chris Jericho.
Man, what a battle.
The winner of this match and All Elite Wrestling World Champion, Chris Jericho.
The man continues to reinvent himself.
Chris Jericho is the first AEW World Champion. But questions still remain. Will Jericho get his thank you for everything he claims he's done for AEW?
Isn't it funny how whenever somebody wins a world championship, there's always a standing ovation, champagne, roses, flowers, yet I got a whole backstage area filled with mutes. Nobody can believe that Chris Jericho is the first AEW champion. Pure silence. There's no thank you for Chris Jericho. There's no round of applause for Chris Jericho, but that's okay, because I got my own thank you, because I'm the first AEW champion. Oh, you see that, Bucks? Chris Jericho, the first champ. How apropos, isn't it?
Great match, Chris.
Yeah, thanks. That's all you're going to say?
Congrats, man.
Yeah, no thank you from the Young Bucks?
Is that what you really want? You just want to thank you? You just want the title.
You know what? You know what? Even if you did thank me, I wouldn't even accept it. Look at this, a whole other round. All you guys can stand in the back of the line. All of you. Look at you. Librarian, you gonna tell me to shush? Up yours. Scorpio Sky, you'll never get a shot at this, you hear me? None of you guys. Idiots. I guess I'll just have to have my own celebration, won't I? Since nobody else seems to be here. That's fine. I'm an only child. I got no problem celebrating by myself. Look at this. Look at this. Look at that. Cheap salami. That's what Chris Jericho gets. Bunch of crap. Look, olives. Look at this. Look. This olives, there's nothing in there. And you look at this one. There's a little guy in there. Can't even get proper olives, can you? What else we got? Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
We do know one thing. Jericho doesn't have many friends. But he will be in the main event on the debut of AEW on TNT tomorrow night, as he'll have two mystery partners to meet the Elite, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. Next up on the countdown to AEW Dynamite, Jericho's first title defense set for Full Gear in Baltimore in November, and will be against the American Nightmare Cody. But Cody has a challenge before him right here on TNT before he ever gets to Baltimore. Hey, it's Tony Schiavone. We are counting down the hours to the return of professional wrestling right here on TNT with AEW Dynamite tomorrow night, live from Washington, D.C. As mentioned, AEW World Champion Chris Jericho will defend the title at Full Gear in Baltimore in November against the American Nightmare Cody. However, for Cody, tomorrow night he will square off against young, dynamic Sammy Guevara right here on the debut of Dynamite. Could the match against Guevara be a warm-up for Cody or a trap game? I had a chance recently to sit down with Cody at his home.
So here we go, Cody. AEW on TNT. It's a lot of pressure. How you feeling right now?
Like it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
But it's the pressure you want. This series of events and this kind of combustible situation where if one thing hadn't happened, we wouldn't be here. If Tony Khan had never entered the fray, or the Bucks had never started being the elite, or if I had never left WWE, all these things came together. It's just really exciting. This is the pressure I always wanted that I didn't know I wanted.
For you, it's kind of two hats.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the ring too. You're going to be taking some bumps and some bruises.
Yeah.
And also looking at the show and say, how can we make the show better? So that's got to add some more pressure to you as well.
For sure, and I can share a little bit of that pressure. I can shoulder a bit myself, but I can pass a little bit off to the others, you know, with Matt and Nick and Kenny.
Right.
Ultimately, if today I was asked what's going to separate us from anything else out there, would be the fact that we're listening. You know, I know in wrestling that the wrestlers and as a company we want to lead the audience, but sometimes they can lead us and take us in directions we perhaps weren't prepared to go, but we will be prepared to go.
First show is a big deal. Washington, D.C., TNT Live. Your match against Sammy Guevara. Sammy's a young, dynamic athlete, great wrestler.
I know what I have in my mind heading towards Full Gear.
Right.
And I'm definitely not the type of individual that would overlook anybody.
Sure.
But then I say that, and the last thing I want is for me to get embarrassed.
Right.
On the very first episode, we talked about the pressure. I feel that pressure more than anything.
My name is Sammy Guevara. I'm from Houston, Texas, and I am 26 years old. For the past 9 years, you name it, I've been trying it all, trying to make it. I don't care if I'm losing out on money going 30 hours taking a bus to Pittsburgh, or if I'm taking a bus losing money going to Mexico. I didn't care. I saw it all as an opportunity. You know, sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong, but it's all about learning. And I've learned a lot on this journey. When I finally got the call, it's like, man, I've been doing all this stuff, sacrificing all this stuff, and then, you know, to get like a life-changing call, like, damn, is this really happening? Like, this is what I worked for, and now we're getting that opportunity. I don't get stuck in that feeling for too long, because then I might slack off. Sammy Guevara is gonna be good in a couple of years. Sammy Guevara is this. It all just means that Sammy Guevara is not now. It means no matter how much work I put in, no matter how much I improve, no matter how many shows I've been stealing, every time he has a lot of potential. And so it does irk me. It does kind of drive me a little insane to hear that. I think it's obvious Cody's overlooking me. He's got so many other things where his focus is at. You know, he's focused on being an EVP. He's focused on TV. He's focused on getting arenas for TV, dealing with talent. He's got a lot on his plate. He's got to deal with Jericho. There is no choice but to not have 100% of his focus on me. He's got his focus everywhere. October 2nd, this is a big night for AEW. But even more so, this is the biggest match of my life. Not just my career, but my life. And it may not be for Cody, but 100% is for me. I have 100% of my focus on beating Cody.
The implications of this exist for me. I'm not going to go on to Full Gear, and I'm not going to go on to Baltimore in that match if I lose to Sammy Guevara. You know, classic card subject to change situation.
Absolutely.
If I take a loss to Sammy Guevara, that changes the title match. If
Right.
Chris Jericho takes a loss in Philadelphia, that changes the title match. That's
Right.
again, we're talking about listening. That's one where we want to honor the wins and losses.
Okay, I want to ask about Jericho. I know you're not looking past Sammy. You have your chance at the world title. Do you think your position as EVP has afforded you this, and do you think that's an issue?
It's really easy when you're underappreciated and you're the underdog and you're undervalued. And when that's the chorus that goes along with discussion about you, and for a long time, that was the story on me. Oh gosh, he was so underappreciated. He's an underdog, he's undervalued. Look at what's happening now. But the moment you kind of put on the Yankees hat and change directions and you're winning, that chorus goes away.
That's right.
So I can't tune into that. By no means, it's a shot at the world championship. Because I'm part of the infrastructure to the company, I never in my life would turn that opportunity down. Because I think my work got me this opportunity. And this means a lot to me on many levels. 10 years ago, Chris Jericho wouldn't have looked twice at me. And he's already had enough trouble establishing that he somewhat works for me. Yep. This is, there's not any part of me that's going to be in the ring in Baltimore that's an EVP. Every part of me is a kid with a chip on his shoulder who probably wanted to beat this guy 10 years ago and thought he could. But the difference is I know I can now. And I'm not looking past Sammy, but very much looking forward to it.
For Kenny Omega, his path to tomorrow night's debut of AEW Dynamite has been a wild path. And it all started after his match at Double or Nothing against Chris Jericho.
Everyone trusted me to make a statement on that first show. I felt that I was on another level, but it wasn't good enough. All I had to do was get past Chris Jericho.
And I told you, when I beat Kenny Omega, which I did by the skin of my teeth, but I beat Kenny Omega, I was gonna demand one thing from all of you, one thing from AEW. I'm gonna demand a thank you. I said I demand a thank you.
Hey! Whoa! What the hell? Good God Almighty, the roof just came off. Jon Moxley! Omega, Moxley, on top of the stack of death, DDT!
Kenny Omega turned his focus to Jon Moxley as he prepared for their battle at All Out this past September in Chicago. Omega had momentum building until the match against Moxley was suddenly canceled by an unfortunate injury. Kenny did not take the news very well.
Wow, what a sad story, right? Don't you feel sorry for Jon Moxley? Jeez, what a damn warrior, right? I mean, he just showed up. He defied the wrestling god. And he came to AEW, threw me off a stack of chips, and then he went on this journey, a warrior's journey. He wanted to know what it was like to live a month in the life of Kenny Omega's shoes. Insert wrestler name here, better than sign, Kenny Omega. And people were doing that with you. They were, because you were like the hot topic for 15 minutes. This is your big chance of redemption. You decided to start wanting to check off all those boxes on that bucket list of yours. You got a boo-boo on your elbow. What's your explanation? You're gonna write a sappy tweet apologizing to everyone? Make everyone feel bad for you? Did I go to Japan and wrestle 24 days of the month before fighting you? No, you see, I did this thing, John. It's called being a professional. I was ready. I took you seriously. I never got myself injured. I got myself in the best shape of my life. You never took me seriously. You never took this pay-per-view seriously. You owe everyone an apology. You owe me an apology. And you should really look in the mirror, John. I'm playing this all back in my mind, and I'm thinking, oh boy, I'm being really insensitive because this is a real serious injury. You were careless. I blame you. I would love to wish you a speedy recovery. That's what I'm supposed to say.
But at this point, I could really give a if you ever come back.
Omega will now join forces with the Young Bucks in the 6-man tag team main event right here tomorrow night against AEW World Champion Chris Jericho and 2 mystery partners. Now, more on that still to come. Also tomorrow night, live here on TNT, we will crown the first ever AEW Women's World Champion as the Beast, Nyla Rose, will square off against Rio. These 2 women represent the very deep and talented roster AEW has in the women's division. Dr. Britt Baker, Allie, Awesome Kong, just to name a few, as well as our Chief Brand Officer and talented competitor, Brandi Rhodes.
The AEW women's division is really thriving right now. You'll note that we have one of the most diverse and inclusive divisions you're ever going to find anywhere. Now, that's not by design. That's just because we searched the entire globe for the best talent that you could possibly find in women's wrestling, and we happened to stumble upon some of the most diverse competitors. You'll see that our competitors are very tough in the ring. They all bring something unique and fantastic to the table, and it's really a force to be reckoned with. The AEW Women's World Championship is one of the most prestigious wrestling titles that there ever is going to be. The unique thing about the crowning of this particular champion is that they're going to be the first. The match between Nyla and Riho, on paper it looks like David and Goliath.
まだ8歳だったので、私は体操をやってると思ってたんですけど、それがプロレスだったみたいな感じです。
Rio's been fighting in the wrestling ring since she was 9 years old. I've been fighting since 9 years old. I've been fighting poverty, been fighting society to be myself. I'm black, I'm Native American, I'm trans.
見た目のせいで弱く見られることもあるんですけど、小さかった分、そういうところでは練習とかで厳しくしていただいてたので、その基礎的なものに関しての不安は全くなくて、そうお客さんとかがこうあんまり期待してないところから始まって、こうなんかだんだんこう見てくれてるなってなる感覚があるので、そういうところを感じるのは好きです。
I've got quite a bit on Riho. She's what, like 70, 80, 85 pounds? And I'm gonna do to you, Riho, what I did to 20 other women at All Out, pick you up and throw you around.
契約するときはケニーさんが昔タッグ組んだりとかしてたこともあったので、その関係でこう声をかけてくださって、最初は自分でいいのかなっていう気持ちもあったんですけど、やっぱりこう声をかけてくださる方がいる限りは期待に応えたいし、自分でも何か成し遂げたいなと思ったので、頑張ってみようと思いました。
The ultimate prize is on the line. Not just the AEW Women's title, but being the first AEW Women's Champion.
So will resilience persevere over sheer strength? Guess we'll find out as we crown our first ever AEW Women's World Champion and make history.
When we return on the countdown to AEW Dynamite on TNT, the tag team division was in for quite a shock at All Out as the Young Bucks and Lucha Brothers tore the house down in an unforgettable ladder match. As we head to tomorrow night's AEW debut right here on TNT, we want to take you back to the epic ladder match between the Young Bucks and the Lucha Brothers at All Out. An event that once again proved that AEW has the greatest tag teams in the world. As the match concluded, we saw the shocking debut of the hottest tag team free agent signing to date.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, again, as I mentioned in my long career, I've had the privilege of calling some amazing ladder matches with some of the greatest stars in history. But there are not two better tag teams I've ever seen in a ladder match than these two. Oh, ladder! Oh, up and over the ladder, landing on his feet. Oh,
rolling cutters, double spears.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Look and roll.
Spectacular offense. risk-taking, amazing agility and courage.
Oh, he went for the mask!
And a super kick in the midair.
Oh, God! Oh, God! Oh!
Oh!
They're thinking zero fear. The Madman!
For the love of God, I can't believe what we're seeing. Oh, my God. And the Lucha Brothers have retained the AAA Tag Team titles.
What is this? Some masked figures. No, look at this! And we still don't know, like, what's going on. Santana and Ortiz in All Elite Wrestling.
Santana and Ortiz have just decimated the amazing Young Bucks and the Lucha Brothers for that matter.
Come. Congratulations.
Amazing.
Man. Yeah, it was pretty amazing, wasn't I?
Definitely. Yeah.
First ever AEW champion. Well, appreciate the congratulations.
Of course. Just wanted to say congrats.
Yeah, man.
You know what? One more thing. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
And now, everyone, that leads us to this major announcement. I can now confirm that AEW World Champion Chris Jericho has his tag team partner set for tomorrow night's six-man tag team main event here on TNT. Jericho will team with Santana and Ortiz against the Elite, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. In addition to this big six-man main event tomorrow night here on TNT, we have these matches signed. Pac goes one-on-one against Hangman Adam Page. MJF will collide with Brandon Cutler. The American Nightmare Cody will take on young, hungry Sammy Guevara. And tomorrow night we will crown the first ever AEW Women's Champion as Japanese sensation Rio will collide with the Beast, Nyla Rose. Excited? Well, we are, and let me tell you why. We are fan-based. AEW was born because of you, the professional wrestling fan that wanted more, that wanted to matter, that wanted to be heard. You have heard us say we are going to change the world. Now, when we use the term we are talking about all of us here at All Elite, and you, our great fans. So get ready for a night years in the making. Pro Wrestling returns tomorrow night right here on TNT at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Get ready, fans, for AEW Dynamite.
It's unprecedented. And if you could refer to anything, it was over 2 decades ago. I mean, fans, it's your moment. It's my moment. It's our moment.
Don't necessarily count yourself out, even if you feel like that this might be the end or you're at your lowest point. You can't quit. You just got to stick around long enough. And if you're good at something and you have a desire for it, you'll eventually get a job or land on your feet.
Yeah, you just got to believe in yourself. Yeah.
I really want this company to succeed, and I really want this to be a product that puts the fans first. I want it to be something that will not only be beloved by wrestling enthusiasts, but for people that have never watched a show before in their lives.
I have a saying amongst my brethren in the elite, let's live forever. And I'm not naive enough to think any of us can live forever, but I think pro wrestling can make moments that do. And that is what AEW aims to do. So once again, from myself, from all of us at All Elite Wrestling, thank you.